Hello, all my copiers and followers, to the closing of the month of June and almost half one closing. Only one day of trading is remaining, and I wanted to reflect on the month. It has been a very turbulent month, full of ups and downs, and I wanted to take you through my portfolio, what happened. So overall, we'll be closing at almost minus 4% for June. It has been a very intense month for both the S&P 500 and as well my portfolio and the whole sectors. There is a lot of things that impacted this result for the month. There is a massive fear of an AI bubble. In my opinion, I don't think it's founded, because the issue is the difference between .com bubble and AI bubble. There was no revenue. Today there is revenue and there is amazing results, and the companies every quarter over quarter are crushing the results. So there are some fears, of course. There is some fear of as well of major inflation that will affect the consumer. So this is another thing that is a bit there worrying the investors. And then there is the rebalancing of portfolios, with massive IPOs happened into the last quarter, especially in the month of June, including SpaceX with $2 trillion valuation and launch. This has been massive as well. So there is a lot of rebalancing of portfolios. All of this have affected the performance. However, I'll take you now to the screen to take you through the biggest winners and losers and what happens over there. And from there, I will tell you at the end if I rebalance from some of the investments to other investments, and how it will happen, and what are my estimates for the year end. Thank you for believing into the system, and I promise you we'll deliver strong results. Until now, YTD, we're at 9%. I'm expecting as well a very strong double-digit growth this year. So it doesn't end here. I think we're closing around the 20%, as I said, maybe a bit more at the end of the year. So let's see it, and I'll take you now to my screen. Hello, my copiers and my followers. I'm very proud that until now, for year 7, we're on a positive momentum. We're going ahead strongly. We were almost at double-digit growth if June was a little bit nicer to us. June has been a very challenging month for the portfolio and for the S&P. We have delivered a very strong still alpha ahead of the S&P 500. So today we're at 9.12% and the S&P is around 7.2. I'll go to it now, but I wanted to show you the strong performance. Yes, we have always during the year we have some challenging months. This happened last year and this happened here, and every year we have months on the red side. However, we have managed to deliver very strong results. Now, when we compare this result versus the S&P, we had a very strong momentum previously, so we're almost 4.5% ahead of the S&P. Now, when we go to the S&P, it's Y to date 7.23, while we're at 9.14, so almost 2% ahead of the S&P 500. The S&P had a very challenging month as well of minus almost 3%, so it has been a very challenging month across. Now, when we go back to the portfolio, we want to always understand what's happening, why this happened, and what are the biggest impactors. Are we in a critical stage? Do we need to rebalance or not? And how I manage this is I look at my portfolio and I see, okay, what are the weighted by my investments? So I look by net investment, where I weighted the most, what are the strongest into my investment, and then how I look at their impact on my portfolio, and I see if I need to rebalance, if something is critically wrong or not. How I do it is I arrange them in a watch list, okay? And then I start re-looking at them. So here you have, when you add all your investments in a watch list, you can re-look at them in a different way. So you can see the one-day change, how this impact your investments. And then if you click here, you can get 1 week. And at the end of the month, you can look at it and check how 1 month have affected you. And this is actually what happened in the month of June. So when we look at what's happening here, into the bigger investment and how they are weighted in my portfolio, you'll find that these are almost 50% of my portfolio. It has been a very challenging month, where we have 8.81% negative on NVIDIA, minus 13% on Meta, minus 17% on Microsoft, and minus 11% on Google. But we have a great performance as well from Micron at 16.6%, 9.33% growth, almost 10% on Lilly, which is led by the innovation into weight loss medications, and then ASML as well, amazing performance, and then SanDisk was a great performance as well, and then we have Palantir minus 27% this month. So when I look at my portfolio, I don't see something critical that is happening. I see the fear that is there from what's happening into, is it an AI bubble where the spending that the companies are spending now have a decent ROI? Is it worth all what is happening between terminations, between massive investments? Will we see a decent growth or not? So these are the questions that investors have. Also, there were the rebalancing. So we had massive IPOs in general, and for example, like SpaceX, and there was a rebalancing of portfolios, especially that SpaceX had a $2 trillion valuation. It's a very, very massive valuation, the highest in the history. So, and people are preparing for Anthropic and as well ChatGPT and all of these companies that are coming live in this year. So a lot of rebalancing is happening. Today, my investment strategy is clear. I invest in companies that has massive financials, and they have a very strong moat for the business model that they have. So very few competitors, they are dominating their field. The competition is not catching up, and they are leading on innovation. Okay, so do I see something structurally wrong? No. People are acting on emotions. They are selling off Microsoft. They're selling in Google. They are not convinced with what Microsoft has been investing in. Google, there is an engineer that left Google and moved to Anthropic. So people looked at it and started acting on this and selling the news. This is momentum trading, where you check, okay, there's a negative sentiment, I'm selling. There's a positive sentiment, I'm buying, and all of this. So these are the things that I look at, and I always look at these company financials, what are the guidance, and so on. I've as well attended recently and presented to other investors in an eToro event, and I was talking about Micron and the amazing results from Micron. Micron has absolutely crushed the earnings, and I believe all these companies as well will continue to crush the earnings. So I will not be rebalancing anything right now from the portfolio. I'm expecting a massive results and massive wins across these investments. Today, also, I want to, so how do I look at it? I can give you several examples. For example, so SanDisk. I entered SanDisk recently because I have been looking at its valuation. And today, I'm very happy that I have been generating almost 19% into SanDisk when you look at these results here since my investment. And I believe that the investment will go ahead. So maybe I entered a little bit late, but the valuation of the company will continue to grow. Results will be astonishing, similar to my belief in Micron and what's going to happen in Micron. So this is when I look at how I balance my portfolio, the performance of the month. So it's totally justifiable. I have as well the rest of the portfolio. So we had strong gainers, strong losers. Some I entered in a very good position. So AVGO has dropped massively after the future guidance, and there was some hesitations from the investors. So now at -7, but it's this month's -18. So I found a good opportunity to get into these investments, and this is what I have done. Some have been longer term. So this is the good thing. When I look at my portfolio, the new investments that I have added this month are CEG, which was a very good addition to my portfolio, going into the power and energy, and one of the cleanest sources of energy in the US, and they are the biggest for clean energy, very powerful nuclear energy, and a great future. AVGO, very strong dip, an overreaction for a great company that was one of the top 10 companies, and bright future and amazing results and amazing future earnings. And then I have added more investments into Lilly with their massive performance that is coming on the weight loss pills, and they have a lot of the pipeline. If you look into the pharmaceutical and pipeline of pharmaceutical medication and all the phase 3 trials that are coming up, they have a massive and strong future. Again, this is my own opinion in these companies. This is, guys, not financial advice. This is how I look at my portfolio. SanDisk, brilliant company, and I'll show you what's coming for SanDisk. Salon is just stacking. IBM as well, the future of quantum. So here, where I look as the scout investor, I'm looking for a big future for IBM with quantum computing and government investment. And this is the real battle between China and US currently on quantum computing, and who will win this battle. So I'm betting on the US market and on IBM to be leading the way on quantum computing. And let's see. So this is new addition. I have added 2 different positions onto different valuations. SanDisk has been brilliant, and I'll show you more about SanDisk. Samsung as well is a company that competes a lot with Micron, and it's good to have 2 strong competitors. I believe Samsung has as well massive valuation future. And to tell you more, guys, how I look at the companies and how I look at it. So let's take 2 examples why I bought AVGO and SanDisk for now. So when I look at my investments and the tool that I built to be able to look at these accounts, and then, for example, look at SanDisk now, okay, and the latest valuation of SanDisk, you'll find, let's look at the fundamental of the business. So today, the stock currently at the current PE is at 68 PE. However, the forward PE is only at 11.1. Very strong company, very strong net margins. We're looking at 34% net profit margin, gross margin at 56%, amazing results. And yeah, a bit of a higher PEG because of the growth that is demanded from the company. But when we look at, in general, what are the future of the company, we'll see it in the coming year falling almost to
9 future PEG. This is not calculated again because this is the latest forecast that we have until 2029. So here there is no earnings forecast overall by the company and the announcements. So this is how I look at a company like SanDisk. And then let's look at again AVGO. So what's happening with AVGO? Is it a good company? And this is, I'm being brief now. This is how I not do the analysis. I do a lot of more in-depth analysis, but this is, I want to briefly take you how I look at the companies. So AVGO, it's a bit ahead of the sector, but when we look at the PEG here, actually it's very healthy. So the current pricing for the company, so even with the growth rate that is expected from the company, still we have an amazing future, which is undervalued at 0.8. The forward PE for the coming year is 31.5. And then when we look even on the valuation DCF, the company is very close to the DCF, not super overvalued. So this is one aspect. 38.8 brilliant net margins, gross margins, beautiful free cash flow. The company is extremely strong. And now when we look at the future results, guys, but this company is going to have a PE of 10 forward PE by 2030. So this is the future. When you look at the future, you look how the company is executing and financials, this is how you make a decision. And that's it. If you have any comments, please write it into the video, and I'll be looking forward to your interactions and comments onto the performance of the month, and if you have any other questions.